I'm Ray and welcome to TinyTableGames. Today we're doing Freelancers Episode 2, or rather the continuation of the very first adventure in the game. Last time we left off having marched around map A for a bit, and we're on our way to our first dungeon with the eventual goal of getting all the way up the map to kill the dragon. So that's the end of this particular campaign. There are multiple campaigns in the app, as it's an app-driven game or coordinated game. With lots of different types of characters. Definitely check out the first video if you haven't. In the setup one, they're actually both pretty interesting, and there's all kinds of weird characters for this game, so it's kind of interesting. That said, thank you very much for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. Help my little channel grow. And let's get into Freelancers Episode 2. Okay, here's the setup. And as you may recall, we made our way from the start down here in town, out into the spokes, as they call it, out of the hub. And we broke camp and made our way to the dungeon, and that's where we left off. So it's time to hit the dungeon and see what it has to say. Dungeon.
You convince Veldemax the Great into letting you risk life and limb in a dungeon, so that you may have a better chance of surviving when you risk life and limb against the dragon. He allows it, following but not helping, like the generous patron he is.
So this location is a dungeon in Freelancers. Every dungeon represents a chance to gain treasure, but only if all of the players who participate succeed. Players must now choose who is the project manager for this dungeon. As they explore the dungeon, the project manager will have the opportunity to choose other players to participate. If you manage to reach the end of the dungeon, the project manager and all the players who participated will receive a prize. Cool. If they haven't already, the players must now collectively choose someone to be the project manager. I will choose Bill, our bug warrior, to be the manager.
You find a cave whose mouth exhales a musty breath most foul. Normally you'd keep moving, but you notice a stone cairn nearby with a strange symbol carved into the moss. Thieves' symbol. You whisper as you gesture to it. You've picked a few things up over the years, and you know enough to suspect that such symbols often lead to a stash of loot. As you enter the cave, you notice that the mouth very quickly tapers down into a tight squeeze.
So, who wants to go first?
Scala asks.
The project manager must choose someone to participate in this dungeon and crawl in. The next entry is for that participant. Let's see, who's got the best chances in there? Honestly, probably the project manager, aka the warrior.
You're going to have to be careful crawling in these tight spaces. Once you find a way through, you're likely to have to guard the entrance for anyone else coming from behind you. But you can handle it, right?
Are you a dwarf, a goblin, or an imp? No to all of those. Make an agility check. Is the result equal or higher than the current threat? Equal to or higher than an 8 on a d20 plus a d4. That is a 6. Wow. I felt pretty confident about that too. No.
You crawl through several twists in the tight tunnels, until suddenly you slip head first down a crevasse. You nearly plummet to your death, but are saved by your pants, which bunch up at your ankles and leave you hanging in a very embarrassing and vulnerable position. Suddenly, your mind begins to race. When was the last time you washed your underwear?
And your choice here is don't wear any, or depends what month is it. Well, considering he's an insect, I imagine he doesn't wear any.
The others eventually fish you out of the pit and drag you to safety. Nobody is happy with the experience, least of all your bare keister, which is cut and shredded as it pulled across many sharp stones. By the time they pull you out, you are no longer in the mood to find loot. However, you don't have it the worst. The person who has to bandage your butt has it the worst.
Okay, so gain one wound for the barbarian. The medic gains the title Healer of Rears. You have failed this dungeon. Oh, just like that. Wow. So if anybody fails, you get nowhere. I understand it better now. Okay, well, time to move on. We only have one choice. We're going to what looks like the little nuclear icon, which is in fact a threat. And we must travel, so gotta pull out the old travel bag. And we pull out a Fallout threat. And we're back to 2 Fallout threats and 1 alarming threat. If you get 3 of either, that ups the threat count and resets the threat bag.
Veldemax the Great wags a finger at your party.
If you keep dawdling, the solstice will end and the dragon will be too powerful to defeat. Not paying you to drag your feet on this.
What are you paying us exactly? One of you grumbles, but Veldemax pretends not to hear it.
Roll a 20-sided die. Any player may gain stress to re-roll the die. If the roll result is higher than the current threat, the threat will increase and the game will get harder, but you also trigger a crossroads event as a reward. And it is a 1. Is the result higher than the threat? No, it is not. Nothing happens. Please travel on the map. Okay. We're getting up to scene 82 where we need a boat. Because it told us to write that down last time. First travel. And it is, oh dang it, the nuclear one. Well, at least we get to put our companions back in too. And now we're up to location page 82. Have the bookkeeper turn to page 9 in the location book. Do not yet begin play on that page. So we got a little swamp town, lots of fishing, a little frog boating on top of a alligator who seems to be amused. Another frog fishing with a little cooler. These are some pretty advanced frogs.
Going upriver is no easy task, but the river village of Stinksgood has crocodile paddlers who could be of assistance. Stinksgood is famous for its restful, easygoing vibes, and its aggressively off-putting odor, but mostly the vibes.
Action 7 on this page is red, which means 1 player is required to go there. See page 5 for more information. Here in the location book, start time, and then we get a read, and we only have till that amount of time to pick everybody. 45 seconds to go. Oh, that's funny. Okay, haggle with the croc paddler. We'll put the smart guy on that. Study the map, that'll be, I don't know. Go fishing for rats, I don't know. Frog yoga, actually rest. Frog yoga and studying the map. And drinking bug juice or visit the nursery. Ugh, that's a tough one. Nursery. There. Starting at the top as always. Frog yoga. Let's see. Agility +1. Make an agility check. 1 to 14, enter this. 15 plus, enter that. So that's a 9 plus 4, so 13. Plus 1 is 14.
You join a frog yoga sesh and decide to impress the locals there with some of the refined moves you mastered back in the hub.
Chipmunk's remorse.
This is called Chipmunk's Remorse, you tell the other participants, before losing your balance and falling on the ground, where you put a rusty nail through your hand.
Oh, wow. I see where the remorse part comes in.
Says a local.
Gain 1 wound. Oh man. Now we got number 3, rest for the warrior. Spend 1 time and choose a camp action. And we pull. Gain a follower? That might be cool. Because you get to add them to the bag. Let's try that. And it is Flora, the herbalist. When a supplies token is drawn from the time bag, you may give this follower to any other player to heal 1 hit point. So there's token number 18, which has a little picture of Flora, the herbalist on it. And it's going into our time bag. Yeah, visit the nursery for the elf ranger. Let's see, and that says, choose one of the following. Play with tadpoles, talk to the nurse, or swim with the babies. Well, that sounds creepy. Maybe talk to the nurse. So 906. Nope, there we go.
Hey, what's up, nurse? You say enthusiastically.
Hello.
He says blandly, his froggy eyes blinking. You probably know a lot about tadpoles, huh? Why don't you hit me with some of that sweet tadpole knowledge? Surprise me.
They mostly eat algae,
He says. That's not super surprising.
but sometimes they eat each other.
And he turns to look at you. Oh,
And sometimes, not always, I eat them.
cool, you say, and slowly back out of the nursery.
So gain +1 smarts and 1 stress. He's gonna pick up a coin for increasing his smarts. So that works out all right. And that's his first coin. Haggle with the croc paddler. Make a will +1. 8. Oh man, I should have switched dice.
My friends and I need a croc to go upriver, you tell the paddler.
And I'm the one you want.
She says, putting a thumb to her chest.
Been doing it for years. I know how to get you where you're going and safely. But I warn you, I ain't cheap. And I require half the payment up front.
Oh, you say and make a wincing, unhappy face. We're not looking to spend a lot.
That's fine.
Really?
You bet.
Great. Can we get going?
Oh, I'm not taking you.
She laughs.
No, you should talk to Stan over there.
And with that, she paddles away. You look where she pointed and see a disappointing fellow who gives you an awkward wave. I suppose you heard all that? You ask the frog.
Yep,
He affirms.
no problem. We'll just sort out payment if you survive.
Survive? Are you telling me your passengers get killed on the river?
Well, not all of them.
He says with an eye roll.
Yeesh.
So round end, enter 912.
Hurry!
Vildamax urges as your party scrambles aboard a small fleet of crocs.
Time is of the essence, and the solstice wanes!
Where is this hermit we're looking for? One of you asks.
Upriver!
Vildamax proclaims.
He dwells in the shadowy recesses of the damned.
One of your paddler's assistants sputters when she hears that.
Surely you aren't going inside that accursed place?
She gasps and turns to the rest of you.
Friends, I beg you, don't follow this old fool into the dam. It was built by the ancients and their foul magics. Nothing wholesome travels those shadowed halls of pitch, where light itself dare not invade. There are even those who say,
And at that, the frog drops her voice.
there are those who say, humans hide away in such places.
Oh, shut up already!
Growls Vildamax.
I've been there before. It's dark. Don't stub a toe. That is all you need worry over.
But as the rattled frog turns to walk away, you see her quickly make the sign of Saint Paco, the patron saint of biscuits and protection against evil forces.
Does anybody have the title of Master Negotiator? No, they do not. The bookkeeper may now close this location and travel on the map. So that one's done. And now we're off to 83. We have no choice in the matter. And notice the app updated what was visible. Interesting.
The river ahead is filled with churning rapids that work against your intrepid crocodile rides. Sharp rocks jut from the foam, upon which lurk rabid skunks, hissing and spitting with berserk fury.
Well, this is where the journey turns rough.
Says your croco-paddler sadly. Turns? It hasn't even been 5 minutes! You yell back at him.
At least you had a few minutes of rest.
Okay, So the player with the most influence, which is currently Bill, the warrior, has to make a choice. Use the poles to help steer the crocs through the rapids, use the poles to push the crocs away from the rocks, or use the poles to whack the rabid skunks. Well, he's the warrior. He's going to say whack the skunks. Make a weapon check. Is the result equal or higher than the current threat? 12. That worked out because our current threat is 10. Yes.
There is a time and a place for violence. And facing rabid skunks while surfing crocodiles through rapids is practically a textbook example. You lash out at several skunks and succeed in not only knocking them from their rocks, but sending them flying into skunks on other rocks. The frenzied beasts bite each other before erupting in fiery mushroom clouds. Good heavens, you cry.
Ah, yes.
Says Veldemax sagely.
They each bit the other, giving them double rabies. And as most scholars will tell you, double rabies makes you explode.
That makes too much sense not to be true, you say in agreement. Good thing I was here to save the day.
Oh, don't be so smug.
The wizard snaps.
Gain 1 luck and lose 1 influence. And travel on the map. We go to the no choice in the matter, 84. And draw from the time bag, as they call it. And we get a nuclear threat. So we got 1 alarming one and 1 nuclear one. So that's a pretty good situation. Okay, and now we're on to 84.
For some time, you pass through a serene patch of the river. Then, slowly but surely, the water becomes choppy again. Veldemax the Great seems just a touch excited.
Yes! Yes!
Veldemax cries, teetering on his croc.
Behold! The dam of the damned!
The river winds its way through a rocky canyon, and as you turn a bend, a massive edifice comes into view. The dam itself is some ancient monument of perfectly smooth stone, save for cracks in its foundation where it meets the raging water. The air is thick with mist, as waters from untold heights fall from round portals above, crashing into the river with violent force.
Make for the large crack in the stone over there!
Veldemax commands, but before the croco paddler can comply, the surface explodes as an enormous tortoise, crazed and mutated, bursts up from below. Chardonnay! It bellows into the air.
Chardonnay the mad!
Veldemax exclaims.
Who can say why the beast yells what it yells? Does it know someone named Chardonnay? Does it desire to lustily quaff a white table wine? None now live who can answer. We will have to defeat the monster, or face destruction!
The players must collectively choose someone to make a weapon check. Is the result higher than the current threat? So d20 plus a d6 plus 1 to get 10 or more. And that's a 27. So yep, that did it. Yes.
The tortoise sputters before slowly sinking beneath the water's turbulent surface. The croco paddler sees you all to an enormous crack rent down the dam's surface. You're brought to an area where your feet can find purchase on cold stone, albeit slippery and wet. You make your goodbyes with the paddler, who hastily flees with their fleet of crocs.
My companions!
Exclaims Veldemax.
Let us hasten to my friend Jeremy, a lonely soul who dwells within these ruins. The way is not difficult, but take care that you do not fall into some unseen fissure in the floor. Come now, onward to adventure!
All right. The player who made the weapon check gains influence plus 4 and the title Shell Smasher, and then travel on the map. And now we travel, still no choice, so straight on to scene 85. So 85, have the bookkeeper turn to page 41. Do not yet begin play on that. Here we have page 41. And let's see, night vision goggles on a stick, that's what he's carrying. So there's your crew. There's somebody in shadows, mushrooms. Looks like a beholder or Mike Wazowski drawn on the wall there. Yeah, it kind of looks like a dungeon, all right. Interesting. Dark Corridors is the name of the area.
Beyond the cracked entry to the dam lie dark hallways.
We will need light.
Veldemax states.
So, someone get on that.
You look at each other. Veldemax?
The Great. Veldemax the Great.
Veldemax the Great. Couldn't you just, make light? He looks at the lot of you like you've all grown 3 heads.
Make light? What are you going on about anyway? Come, we must find Jeremy.
Do show caution.
Urges Scala, your charming researcher.
None can know the purpose of such places, for the ancients left us few clues.
Ha! Poppycock!
Laughs Veldemax the Great.
It's all poppycock. Now, who's got that light?
Begin a round in the location in the book. All right, so we hit start time and then make decisions. Time is ticking down. We just don't get any music this time. Let's see, light the way is a requirement. So I think we'll have Bill, you light the way. We will have the Artificer open the portcullis, because that seems like a might job. We'll have the... that's a weird one. Strange Shadows, translate graffiti. We'll have the Burglar, Mouser, look at the Strange Shadows. And we will have the Ranger scout ahead. Or maybe we should have both of them scout ahead, because multiple people can do that one. But we're out of time. Okay. So, the mandatory one right at the top, light the way. Sense +1, make a sense check. Alrighty. 15 or better. That seems to be the standard breakpoint. And we got 18. Woo!
At first, you struggled to get anything to catch, but then you recall the fermented bean dish Cookie had prepared for mess. Torches dipped in that stuff take flame like nobody's business.
Wow, that was quicker than expected.
Grunko, son of Grung, says with a little too much surprise.
Okay, gain 4 influence, so back to the front of the track, lose 1 risk and heal 1 stress. Okay, next up we got the Ranger doing scout ahead. Senses +1, make a sense check. Roll a d20. So making his sense check. Uh, 8 and 4 is 12. +1, 13. Do I want to re-roll that? Choose one of the following? Nah, I think we're good with that. So what's that let him do? Check for traps. Another gainer gains +2 luck. Listen for danger, lose 1 risk. 1 supply, or gain influence. I think gaining a supply is the way to go there, because that just goes straight into the bag. Now onto the portcullis. A might +1, make a might check. And happily he has the D6 bonus for might. So D20 and a D6 +1 for a 15 or higher. That's a 21.
You grab hold of the portcullis bars, and being the sexy muscle beast you are, throw the portcullis back up where it locks into place above. Beyond lies a small but enticing trove of ancient treasures, which you eagerly root through.
So gain 1 treasure card and 1 gold. That's also the Artificer gains 1 gold, which gives him another treasure card actually, so he draws 2 treasure cards. And the treasure cards are up here. 1, 2. And he drew 2 trinkets. Let's see, we got a schematic for a light ray. You may discard this card to retrieve card S49 from the story deck and +2 smarts. And a summoning stone. corruption +1, followers +2. Surprise, you're stuck out here in the wilds with us. And it gives you +2 smarts and +2 will in the meantime. Wow, that's really good. Should he be the guy who has this at the moment? Okay, we'll give the summoning stone to the thief. And the light ray to the elf. All right, so making his strange shadows check, we'll be using agility, which he gets a +1, and he has a +1 to using it, plus his bonus die. So that is a 2 and a 6. I feel like that's terrible. Is it worth doing anything about? Probably not. Ay, ay, ay. Well, hopefully it's humorous and not calamitous.
Rather than approach shadowy strangers in a dark dungeon, you sneak closer and drop a few eaves as the mysterious folk talk amongst themselves. They talk about their journey and shortcuts taken before arriving at a particularly relevant subject.
I liked that dragon!
Says one feminine voice.
We made the right choice visiting her! Funny though, she seemed awfully fearful of that magical cup that keeps beverages cold. What do you make of that?
I have heard of such things.
Says another voice, this one masculine.
Some dragons are especially vulnerable to ice or the cold. I suspect such is true here.
Ah, I see.
Says the woman.
Then we must keep this to ourselves so that no one else ever learns that secret.
Having heard enough, you creep back.
So we lose 1 risk and make a note that the dragon is weak to cold. And we were down to 1 anyway, so back in the bag. Weak to cold. Check. And that's everything here. Ooh, we'll have a decision coming up. Either a threat or a threat. If we go to this threat, then we go to Swirly Chaotic Temple, which might be fun. And if we go this way, it's a crossroads and an event. That's tempting too. In this round out, 4112.
At the end of a long hallway sits a crude lean-to made out of an office desk and several folding tables.
Jeremy!
Cries Veldemax the Great.
The heck?
Calls a deep voice from inside the lean-to.
Veldemax, you son of a gun, is that you?
A slimy, middle-aged troll man crawls out of the lean-to, looking gray and shaggy, and more than just in a little need of a bath. In other words, classic troll zaddy vibes. The two fellows clasp hands, and Veldemax introduces you all.
Jeremy, these freelancers have agreed to help us slay the dragon. Everyone, this is Jeremy. He is but one more victim of that vile lizard, and he knows how important our quest is.
The troll nods.
Oh, yes, sir. I know. All too well.
He wipes a tear from his eyes, and when he sees your curious faces, says,
My wife was lost to that monster.
The mood is somber, but Jeremy gladly hands over a scroll to Veldemax.
Here you are, my friend. This spell will give you the edge you need.
He then pulls another scrap from a pocket.
And take this. 'Tis the combination to the dragon's safe. Good luck, and may the gods grant you the vengeance we are owed.
The hermit points you to the exit, and you emerge from darkness into blinding sunlight. Before you stretches rough country, dominated by a large lake. Near the left banks of the lake is a crumbling temple sitting on a small island. Swirly energies play about it. To the right is an ancient building of imposing size.
I have heard of that building to the east.
Says Scala, pointing to the right.
There is much treasure to be found there. But so too is there a fearsome guardian. We should not enter unless we feel well prepared for battle.
Close the location book and travel on the map. And there, I think, is where we'll stop adventure number 2, or rather day number 2 on this adventure. as we continue on our way up to meet the dragon. This campaign's taking longer than I thought, pleasantly so, considering how many more there are to play in this game. So that'll do it for this time. We're gonna rest up and then choose whether we go to the right and fight the treasure golem and go through whatever, an event 86 and stuff like that, or whether we're gonna take the left path, which looks maybe easier with a dungeon. I don't know though, the loot of treasure. In any case, I am Ray, this is TinyTableGames. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a fun time, and I'll catch you next time.